Hello everybody and welcome to another YouTube video. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I spend my money by breaking down 1 month of expenses and transactions. Now this is going to be both business and personal expenses, and I have them broken down into each individual category, so you'll get a really good idea of how I actually spend all of my money. Now, one thing to note here is that I'm not going to tell you what my income is. If you want to know what my income is, you can leave a comment, and if you guess it within $2,000, I'll actually pin your comment. So that'll be my challenge to you. If you guess how much money I make yearly, personally, and in the business, I will pin the comment, but I'm not going to tell you what that is. Anyways, I've spent almost $15,000 in one single month. I think it's pretty interesting to see how I've spent this money. And anyways, we now need to go to the sponsor of the video so I can recoup some of these expenses. So it looks like no one wanted to sponsor this video, so instead I'm going to tell you about Programming Expert. Now, Programming Expert is a brand new course that was just released by myself and the Algo Expert team. It is the best place to learn how to code and covers everything from programming fundamentals to advanced programming and software engineering tools. There's over 250 practice questions on the platform, which means not only are you going to learn from the best videos out there in terms of teaching you how to code, but you are also going to have a ton of practice and even practical projects and assessments to go through to make sure you really understand everything that you've learned. You can check out Programming Expert from the link in the description or go to programmingexpert.io/Tim and use the discount code Tim for a discount on the platform. Check it out, and now let's get into the video. All right, so let me start by giving you a bit of context here and talking about how I make money in a business sense and in a personal sense as well, so that you understand where some of these expenses are coming from. So I am self-employed. I actually have a corporation. This corporation is Tech with Tim Inc., and this takes all of my revenue. So any of the revenue I make from YouTube, from sponsorships, from brand deals, from working at Algo Expert, from commissions on programmingexpert.io, make sure you check that out from the link in the description, by the way. All of that goes straight to the company, and then in the company, I deduct all of my business expenses. I pay myself a salary out of that company, and then I have to pay tax at the end of the year. But the tax rate in a corporation in Ontario, which is where I live, is relatively small. It's about 12.8%. Anyways, the reason I'm telling you this is because from the company, I pay myself a salary, but the amount that I pay myself is up to me. I can decide month by month how much I want to pay myself, and I keep this number as small as I possibly can and pretty much to exactly what I spend every month personally, so that I'm paying the least amount personal income tax I possibly can. Now, this is not tax fraud. This is completely legal. Everyone does this, especially if they own a company. But in Canada, the personal tax rate is extremely high. The top marginal rate is 53.5%, which means if you make over $250,000 a year Canadian, you pay 53.5% of every dollar earned above that amount to the Canadian government. So if you were to say make $500,000 a year in Canada, you'd end up paying about $240,000 of that to the Canadian government. Anyways, this is the reason why I keep how much I pay myself to a minimum so that I never get into these very top tax rates personally, and so I'm paying the least amount that I possibly can in personal tax. Hopefully that makes a bit of sense, but that's kind of the idea. Now, all of the rest of the cash that I'm not paying myself sits in a corporation. I actually transfer it to a secondary company called a holding company and then gets invested in there in real estate, stocks, whatever. And it just sits in there, it grows, and if I ever need it, I pay it to myself, and then I have to pay the penalty, which is the personal income tax. So hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea, but that's kind of the structure that I have set up. Anyways, let's go to the spreadsheet now, and let me show you how much money I have spent. Now, I've broken this into business and personal expense. Now, business expenses are money that I'm paying out of the corporation, and personal expenses are money that I'm paying out of my personal bank account, so really out of the salary that I would have paid myself. So let's continue here. I'm now on this spreadsheet. I just got a template from the internet that let me kind of put in some transactions and have this auto-generated. So it'll look a bit weird because I'm not using all of the columns, but you can see that I've spent about $15,200, $300 in the month of November 2021. Now, $5,400 of that is from the company, and about $9,800 of that is personal. Now, I usually don't spend that much money personally. This month was kind of a special month, and well, I'll start going through some of the transactions, and you can see. Anyways, if we're looking at the expenses here, they're all categorized. So I have dining out, groceries, gasoline, fun money, toiletries and supplies, electric bill, cell phone bill, home property tax, homeowner insurance, a bunch of stuff. You can see investments, home maintenance, giveaways, editing service, whatever. And of course, I'm not going to be showing you any like corporate investments or anything other than just expenses. Okay, so this is kind of the general dashboard. I mean, I'll leave this up so you guys can look at it for a second. Pause the video if you want to have a look. Now we will go to transactions, and I'll start walking you through each individual transaction that I have, and you'll probably learn a lot about my life, to be honest, as I walk through this. All right, so first transaction, 53 bucks. This is life insurance. This is just term life insurance that I have for myself that I pay for in the company. Okay, pretty straightforward. Then we have a cell phone bill. Cell phone bills in Canada are stupid high. This is for unlimited data and everything, but still $116, ridiculous. I could literally buy another phone after paying a year's worth of cell phone premiums. Anyways, continuing, we have $661 for insurance again. So I have business insurance, which covers all kinds of stuff, even like malware, ransomware. It covers if I get sued. It covers intellectual property theft, all of that kind of stuff. So that's pretty important to pay for. So I pay $661 for that per month. Then I have my editing service. This is the number one expense I have in my company. It is $2,800 a month, and that's to get all of my videos edited. Now, my editors actually edit all of my videos. They do the thumbnails, they write the descriptions, they add the tags, and they upload them to YouTube. So this, in my opinion, is a pretty good deal, and I really couldn't live without these guys. They save me a ton of time and edit up to 5 videos a week. So for $2,800 Canadian, I'm not complaining at all. Okay, continuing, we have $11.29 for Spotify. So I pay for Spotify in the business because I can write that off. Pretty straightforward. I then have an Adobe Creative Cloud subscription for $44 a month. That is so I can use things like After Effects or Premiere Pro or whatever, Illustrator, Photoshop, all that kind of stuff. Okay, continuing, $38 a month for website security. So for techwithtim.net, I have this security on it, just to make sure you guys don't spam it or DDoS it or something. It doesn't really matter even if you were to do that, but I have this website security I've been paying for like 3 years, so I just leave the subscription. Continuing, I have $50.40 for a Cloud Campaign social media scheduling subscription. Now, I recently canceled this subscription, but when I was posting all of those reels and all of those like shorts videos, I had this tool that was scheduling them for me, so I didn't have to manually post them. Okay, continuing, $84.74 for the internet bill. So that is my home internet. I work out of my house, so I'm able to write off the internet. So that's $85 a month. I then have $15 for camera monitoring. So I have cameras on my house. I'm able to write those off in the business as well because they're like protecting the office or protecting the workspace. It's just $15 a month to have like a cloud storage for them. I have a QuickBooks subscription, which is $45 a month. I have a domain renewal that I had to do specifically this month this was $19. And then I actually bought a graphics card, specifically a 3070 for about $1,500 that I'm going to be giving away to one of you because a comment I left on one of my other videos got 1,000 likes. So there you go. If you guys read the comments, then you might have a chance to win a graphics card. Now, usually in my business, I do have more expenses. This month, I was kind of fortunate to not have a lot. Typically, I have to pay a bookkeeper, probably about $300 or $400. Sometimes I have legal fees or accounting fees, depending on what I'm doing and if I'm setting up some other type of stuff. And then of course, obviously I have a ton of investments. I'm not including those in expenses because I can't really show you all of those numbers. But yeah, that is the business. Last thing I will note is that I also have to pay for a bunch of servers. I have servers running my website. I have servers running a bunch of other things that I'm doing that I can't necessarily talk about. And so that's probably about $100 to $150 a month. I guess I just forgot to include it in here. Okay, so let's continue now to personal. Now, this is a bit more interesting, and this is where a bulk of the expenses are. So we start with homeowner insurance. So I actually own a house, so I have to pay for home insurance every single month. Now, I pay this in combination with my car insurance, so this number might be a little bit off, but it's about $180 a month for home insurance. And then I have car insurance. Car insurance in Canada is mandatory, and it's super freaking expensive. My insurance is over $3,000 a year just to own a car, which is stupid in my opinion, but that's how much it costs. So I pay about $320 a month just to be able to drive a car. Okay, so continuing, I have my largest personal expense, which is debt repayment. Now, I do this every month, $2,500. Now, this debt is a line of credit. So when I bought my house in January, I was a little bit short on cash for the down payment, and I didn't want to wait to buy the house on like a later date because the market was just exploding, and I knew that it would make sense to just take out a line of credit, cover whatever the remaining down payment was, and be able to do that. So anyways, I'm paying this off at $2,500 a month. This will be done very soon. And some of you may be saying, well, why don't you just pay it all off at once? I could do that if I wanted to, but that would mean I would have to pay myself a ton of money personally, which then means I would have to pay a ton of money in tax to the personal government. So it's much better for me to pay the, I think, 5% annual interest on this line of credit than it is to pay myself all of the money to pay it off immediately, because that would be just a ton of money going to tax. And the line of credit is relatively small, so it's not like it's a ton of, interest. Okay. Continuing, I have a mortgage payment. So as I said, I have a house. I'm a homeowner, so I have to pay for a mortgage. This is about $1,800 a month. There you go. Pretty straightforward. I have my home property tax. Now, I actually pay this semi-annually, so I don't know exactly what it is per month, but it's about $3,800 a year in property taxes, so about $310 a month. All right, so next I have a cleaning lady. Now this is $100 every 2 weeks I have her come. She does an amazing job and saves me a ton of time cleaning the place, so definitely worth it. Then I have investments. So I know I said I wasn't going to include investments, but this is kind of a one-off one, and this is personal, so I'll put it in personal, just not in business. And so I paid $984 Canadian on Crypto.com. I forget exactly what I bought, but I think I bought some Cardano or some CRO coin or whatever, and this is just kind of me messing around with personal investments. I have a cryptocurrency portfolio that I hold personally. If you guys want a video on that, then let me know, and I'd be happy to make that. Okay, continuing, I have a car payment. So this is $318 bi-weekly. I got a car at the beginning of the year. Obviously, when I had a house, I needed a car. Well, I guess not obviously, but where I live is fairly far north in Ontario, and so I can't really get around with public transit. Anyways, $318 every 2 weeks. I then have another investment, so I have $1,000 that I put into my tax-free savings account every month. Now, eventually this account will get maxed, and then I will just put this into an open savings account. But if you're unfamiliar with TFSA, this is like a Roth IRA if you're in the US. I might be mixing up the comparisons, but essentially any money that I make in this account is not taxed. So that's great. Obviously, I want to max that out as much as I can, but it does have a limit. Then continuing, we have groceries. So I actually get a meal plan delivered every week. This is like kind of the pre-prepared food, or not necessarily pre-prepared, but it gives you the instructions. It gives you all of the ingredients in a bag, and then you just go and execute the instructions, and well, you have a meal. So these are awesome, and I actually am eating way healthier now that I'm getting these because I'm cooking stuff at home rather than eating out all of the time or ordering a bunch of like kind of shitty university type food that I used to eat before. So I just logged 2 of these here. I think I have 4 of these a month, or I would have 4 of these a month because I do this 4 times a month. I might have forgot to add them all here, but anyways, continue. Okay, next I have my electricity bill. Now, part of this is actually a corporate write-off, but I just put it in here because I do pay it personally until the end of the year, and then I reimburse myself. Now, this is quite expensive, but I have a mining rig that runs in my basement that is making up a good amount of this cost. So anyways, there you go, $220. Okay, so now we are at $204 for fun money. Now, this says gambling, and this is because I actually went to a casino, and I ended up winning like $600 or $700 on my initial like $200 deposit. So I'm going to call that a win and a great investment. Now, I do not condone or support gambling. I've only been one time, and I won, so we'll see if I end up going back. But yeah, that was fun money for the month, $204. Okay, continuing my other car payment that I've already talked about. Then I have insurance. So I have life and critical illness insurance that I pay for personally. So I have some in my business. I pay for some of it personally as well. And yeah, this is pretty important to have, especially when you have recurring expenses. Okay, continuing. I bought an electric toothbrush. This is random for $225. I actually did this, I guess, yesterday from when I was filming this video. Pretty expensive toothbrush, but one of my friends' dads is a dentist and recommended it. So I was like, okay, I'm going to get that one. Continuing, I have some groceries, so just random miscellaneous food costs here. I don't know why they're all split up. I must have gone to a few different places, but spent, I don't know, like $160 on groceries. And I need to buy some extra stuff other than the meal plans because the meal plans don't have like snacks and lunches and all the other things that you need. Okay, then we had gasoline for $98. Now, it is so expensive to fill up my tank now. It cost me almost $110 to fill up my gas tank, and I think it's like a 70-liter tank, so that's why I labeled it crazy expensive gas. Continuing, I have home maintenance. So I actually had to go buy a, what do you even call this? A rake, and I had to buy leaf bags, and I had to buy a few other things for like kind of lawn maintenance at Canadian Tire, and so that was $91. I did that the other day. Then I have dining out. So I went to Tim Hortons. I took my dad out for dinner, which was $71. And then that covers those two. Okay, then $20 on Amazon. I have no idea what I ordered, but I ordered something for $20. Then I got a haircut for $21. Toiletries and supplies. So I actually had to go to PetSmart and buy my cat litter. This is probably the wrong category, but I don't know. It's toiletries for her, so I just put it in that category. So $48. Dining out, I bought something at Tim Hortons. And then food delivery. So I ordered Skip the Dishes 2 nights in a row. Then subscriptions. I have an Amazon Prime subscription for $5. Home maintenance. So I have a water heater in my basement. Most of you, if you own a house, probably have this as well, where it's a rented water heater. So I have to pay like $12 or something a month for the rental of the water heater. Anyways, that's what it is. Another food delivery for $25. Dining out for $7.28 at McDonald's. Nice. And then I have more groceries. Now, this was actually a combination of food and a coffee grinder. So I recently started making my own coffee as opposed to doing the Keurig thing. So like getting the beans, grinding them up. So I had to buy some stuff for that. So a coffee grinder, whatever. And then I bought some food. Okay, then we have gifts. So I actually bought my dad a birthday gift. I got him a bunch of wine, which was $135. Then I ordered something else on Amazon. And then I have my other cleaning lady expense. And that wraps up the personal expenses. Okay, so you can see quite a few transactions. I think I had at least one a day, which is a lot. This is a lot of personal expenses. I usually don't spend this much money personally, but I guess that's just what this month was. Okay, so now let's go to the category reports, or actually, that's not where I want to go. I want to go to spending reports, and I will show you kind of the breakdown of all of the categories. So we can see dining out, $98, groceries, $4.25, gasoline, $98. Usually that's a bit higher. I haven't been driving very much recently. Fun money, $200, toiletry supplies, $274, electric bill, $220, internet bill, $85, cell phone bill, $116, home property tax, $310, home insurance, $179. Just insurance in general is $860. Which means I spend almost $1,000 a month just on insurance. But if you ever need it, then you're happy that you have it. Car payment, yeah, about $640 a month. Car insurance, $320. Again, stupid expensive for the car insurance. Subscriptions, $150. Home maintenance, $104. Investments, almost $2,000 personally, so you can include that in the expenses. Giveaways, almost $1,500. So one of you will be getting this GPU. I'll announce how you can enter that in the coming days. It has to arrive at my house first. Then I have an editing service, which is about $2,800 a month. Definitely my largest expense. Mortgage payment, about $1,800. Cleaning lady, $200 a month. Accounting, QuickBooks, $45. Usually that'd be a bit larger if I have to pay my bookkeeper to go in and do anything. Then I have debt repayment, $2,500 a month. That hopefully will be done soon, or not hopefully, that will be done soon. Then other, $41. Amazon, about $60. Gifts, $135. And food delivery, $75. Perfect. Now I can go to category reports and you can look at the final numbers right here. If you look at just November, it will tell you what the actual amounts are. But yeah, that pretty much breaks down everything. In fact, let me go back to the dashboard. This is a better look at it. All right, so I was kind of just reading through this sheet here. I just made a quick cut, and I was looking at areas and trying to figure out if I could really reduce my spending. And to be honest, any place that I can actually reduce spending isn't really going to have an impact on these numbers, because what's carrying these numbers is things like the mortgage payment. And the mortgage payment, most of that is going to the principal of the loan. And so that's actually building equity in the house. So that's not even really necessarily a bad expense. Then we have things like the debt repayment, right? Now, I have to do that. That's what actually allowed me to buy this house. So that'll be done soon. Then what else do I have that's large? The giveaways. This is a one-time thing. I'm probably not going to do that next month. Then I have editing service, $2,800. Investments, $2,000. I guess I could reduce that, but this isn't really money lost. This is invested in the market. And yeah, a lot of these other expenses are kind of just small random things that are conveniences to me and that I'm probably not going to end up cutting out. All right, so with that said, I think I'm going to end the video here. Now, if you guys want to see more content like this on the channel, then definitely let me know. I would be open to doing a video about different investments, about my crypto portfolio, maybe about my income, although I'm not super comfortable sharing that online. And anyways, yeah, this was a kind of a unique video, and I hope you guys found some value from it. So with that said, I will end here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel, check out Programming Expert from the link in the description, and I will see you in another one.